So I did a video recently where I talked about being a lost comic book collector. This video is kind of a follow-up to that with much less reverb. But I did want to do a follow-up video because I've decided partially where I'm going to go with my comic book collecting. I've made a couple of decisions about what I'm going to do anyway. First thing I decided to do was sell everything. So, what does that mean? Does that mean literally everything? No, not literally everything. I'm going to hold on to all of my graded books here, my graded turtle books over there in the turtle corner of the studio. But the majority of everything else, I'm going to go ahead and let go of it. I just got to the point where I had to move, for starters, all of my short boxes out of the room here. I had a big shelf where I kept all my comics, and I had to move that out of the studio because it was just too much clutter. So I initially decided that I was going to go ahead and sell all of my action figures, my NECA toys, my Rangers, all my Funko Pops, all of that stuff I put on consignment at my local comic shop, Syndicate Comics, here in Marietta, Georgia. Great shop if you're in the area to check it out. But I put all of my stuff, figures, toys, Funkos, on consignment there about a week and a half ago. And that kind of prompted me to look at the comics. So I started looking through my comics, and I just realized, I have so much stuff that I've purchased, and it was either a cover buy or an impulse buy or new comic book day stuff that I've already read and enjoyed it, and it goes in a box. And then I haven't picked it out one time since then, unless I've used it on like a show that I've done here and there. But for the majority of the books that I have in those short boxes, they just sit in those short boxes. And now they're not even sitting in my comic book studio. They're sitting in the room next door. So I decided, you know what? Let me get rid of all of these books. If it's a book that does not bring me a lot of joy, something that I have to have, let me get rid of it. Now, does that mean all my Ghost Rider stuff? Yeah, even my Ghost Rider stuff, even my Captain America stuff, and even some of my Turtles. Because I've gotten to the point where I realized, I'm like, look, I have Cap 100 in a high grade, Avengers 4 in a high grade. I need a Golden Age Cap, but, after I get that, it's like, if I have all of these, does it really matter if I have Captain America and Falcon issue 235? I don't even know what issue that is, but, do I really need that issue? I've got the big books. I've got the first appearance of Ghost Rider. I've got a high-grade Ghost Rider number 1. Do I really need all the other Ghost Riders? I mean, there's about 2 or 3 that I think I'm going to hold on to. But I figured, you know what? If I can help someone else fill some runs in their collection, people who really do enjoy putting those runs together and having boxes full of runs of certain characters and series, then I'm going to do that, because I don't intend on filling the entire Ghost Rider run or the Captain America run. I don't have, that's not my passion. And then I looked at my What If books. I put together the entire volume 1 of What If, minus issue number 10. I A-okayed that to a good buddy of mine because, well, I A-okayed that to a good buddy of mine. But after I put together volume 1, I put together volume 2, and then I put them in a box, and I put them in under the bottom of my shelf. And I think for me, it was the passion was putting together the run, the thrill of the hunting those books down. And I would say 90% of those I picked up in shops or at a con. There was very few that I actually bought online. So that was the thrilling part of collecting those, and that was over. So I've decided to move those. The same thing with my Turtles Volume 1 run. I know it seems crazy because I just finished it, but it's another one of those things where, can I move those books, get those out of here, get them into other people's hands, and then maybe I can use that money to get a bigger turtle book. Now, which one? I don't know, because I've got number 1, 2, 3, 4, Raphael number 1. I have a 9/8 Ronin Ashcan. But there's other bigger books that I would like to obtain at some point in the future, and I've got boxes of books that I really don't have a passion for, a use for, or a purpose for, because obviously I can't display everything. So that's my biggest thing. That's why I put the slab wall up here, because I was tired of buying these big books. You know, big books to me. They might not be big books to everyone, but they're big books to me. And you know, spending the amount of money that I'm spending on some of these books and having them sitting in a box where I can't enjoy them. I don't see them every day. And that really started to bother me. Now, obviously, I'm not going to line my entire room with comic books. And at some point, I'm going to do a room tour of the studio now that I've got it almost done. But there are books that I felt like, you know what, when I walk into this studio, I want to see these books. I want to feel the pride of looking at what I've accomplished in my collecting. These are the kind of books that give me that sensation of feeling like I accomplished something, and give me that sense of pride in my collection. The books that I'm deciding to get rid of, the run fillers, the new comic book day stuff, that doesn't give me that same fulfillment. And not to say that they're any less, because I know there's a lot of people that's where their fulfillment comes from, and that's awesome, because you know what? Collect your way. But for me, I'm moving in a different direction, and I've gotten to the point where if I don't do something, I feel like I'm going to lose interest in the hobby altogether, and I definitely don't want to do that. So I'm going to move pretty much 90% of my collection. I'm going to get rid of it, and I've already started. I do have a Whatnot account. That's where I've chosen to move my books, and the majority of my stuff, I'm starting at $1. The majority of it is starting at $1. That way, I don't have to feel like I'm price gouging anyone. The book's going to go for what you want to pay for it, and I think that's the coolest way to do it. So that's the way I'm selling the majority of my collection. Now, there will be some books that won't start out at $1, obviously, because they're way bigger books, but I haven't even gotten to those books in my sales yet. So, you know, I've just decided that there's so many books that I do have in my collection that I can part with and use those funds to grade some of these other books that I have, like my Turtles #1 that hasn't been graded yet. I've got several books that I'd like to have graded, but a lot of them I'm gonna do a walkthrough on, and that's a little pricey. I want to finish the end cap on my slab wall here and get a few more of those graded, and then at that point I want to make small lists of books that will be a lot harder for me to attain, and even with that, it's going to be a challenge, because I'm still struggling with being able to convince myself that spending the amount of money on some of these that it's going to cost is okay. So that's going to be a little bit of a struggle for me as well. So we'll see how that goes. But for right now, that's where I'm at. You know, this is my answer to being stuck in a place where I almost have lost interest in the hobby. This is a way for me to regain interest in another direction. There's some Golden Age stuff that I've found interest in. Obviously, I want to get a Golden Age Captain America. I've always been a fan of pirates, and I've talked about wanting pirate comic books to be written, like new stuff. Well, I've found some Golden Age pirate books, some EC Golden Age pirate books, and I would love to venture into that avenue a little bit. So those are things that I think I'm going to start to try out and see where that takes me, and really put my efforts and my money into something that it will give me that sense of fulfillment and that sense of accomplishment again. I don't know if this is something that will last forever, because I'm kind of a flip-floppy guy sometimes, so you never know. But my biggest problem is I don't have a brake pedal when I find something that I want or that I'm interested in. I will move hell and high water to find it, get it for the price I want it, and have it. And then, okay, well, I got Walking Dead 2 weeks after I decided that was the next book I wanted. Now what? So that's going to be a struggle for me. I'm going to have to teach myself to slow down and pace myself and enjoy the hunt a little more, and be a lot more selective with what I want and what I want to go after. I really started to gain some interest in Galactus. I've always thought that was a cool character, but I've never read much of it. I don't really have any Galactus books. So maybe at some point I'll go after a Fantastic Four 49, because I really don't care for 48 because the cover is absolutely atrocious, but 49 would be an awesome book to own at some point. So this is where I'm going. I'm going to, like I said, sell off the majority of my collection through Whatnot, which is a great app that we are on, and it's been a blast on there. So that's where I'm going to go, guys. So I'd love to hear your thoughts. I know a lot of you told me to sell everything and start over, upgrade the ones you got. I don't know that I'm really interested in upgrading what I have at this point, just because the prices of books have gone up so much, and the majority of the books behind me I got for pennies on the dollar compared to what they're going for now. But I am going to go the route of selling the majority of my stuff off, and try to use that to improve upon the blue chip stocks that I have, because that stuff is really, I think, where I want to go, is just, trying to obtain some of these bigger books that I see other people have, and it kind of makes me a little jealous. But before I pick up any of those books, I really want to try to go into a deep dive on the history behind the characters or series, and know something about it and have a vested interest in the book, other than the fact that it costs a lot of money and it's a big key. That's why I went after Walking Dead #1. I decided to check out the series when it came out this year with those deluxe editions, and I fell in love with the story, and I had to have a #1. That's the way I want to go now. I want to dive into characters and series, see how much I really enjoy them, and then choose books to pick up based on that. So let me know in the comments, guys, what do you think about what I'm doing? Do you think I'm messing up? Do you think that this is something that I should rethink? Do you think I'm making the right decision? I think it's going to be a fun adventure, and I'm excited to see where it goes. So I'd love to hear your comments. How many of you have ever done this? And is this something that those of you who said you were kind of stuck in the last video, is this something you might consider trying? Want to hear those comments, guys. Please make sure you hit the thumbs up if you enjoyed the video. If you're not subscribed, please hit the subscribe button, because that helps out our channel a lot, guys. Do not forget, you guys are the best part of Two Brothers Comics, and as always, collect your way.